In a crumbling colonial building in Yangon, the capital of Myanmar, a teacher taps the words on the board with a bamboo rod. "Repeat after me so you will remember this by heart," she instructs. Everyone chants back in unison. This has been the routine throughout the morning. Hands are not raised, questions are not asked. Memorizing textbooks is all that is required. And for these pupils, rote learning will continue for years to come. Only 1 in 10 of these students will remain until high school. Although the majority of children in Myanmar enroll in primary school, half of them drop out by the second year of secondary school. Many do so because their families need the income they will earn by working. Many others, however, cite boredom, not poverty, as the main reason. Ironically, this was not always the case. Myanmar, formerly known as Burma, was once admired for the widespread literacy of its people and its high educational standards. Under British rule, Burma developed its standards even higher. When it gained independence in 1948, it boasted one of the highest literacy rates in Asia. But this trend would not continue. In 1962, the Burmese army seized power. It literally blew up the university's student union building, nationalized the schools, and drastically reduced funding. Textbooks became a tool of indoctrination rather than instruction. Educational standards plummeted. Burmese replaced English as the language of instruction. In 1988, all universities were closed for 2 years. In the 1990s, the government introduced one 6-month term for each year. Irregular commencement dates were arranged. Following student protests in 1996 and 1998, universities were closed again for 3 years. When they were reopened in 1999, they were relocated and scattered throughout different regions. The bachelor's degree program was reduced to 3 years. Perhaps the plight of education in Myanmar was best described by Brandon Ong Mo, an engineering graduate student who returned home from his studies in Singapore and wrote of his experiences in 2017. "I noticed that the streets were more crowded, the traffic was worse, there were more high-rises in the downtown area, and Yangon was teeming with foreigners. But I realized that some aspects of the country had never really changed. The persistence of poor quality education is one of them. Myanmar's curriculum is outdated and disconnected. Take high school math, for example. Each chapter is treated as entirely separate from another, and questions do not test students' ability to use various concepts from different chapters to solve real-life problems. The teaching of English in Myanmar schools leaves much to be desired. Some poor families in Myanmar ask their children to work as indentured labor and collect in advance from business owners about 6 months of the child's salary. As a result, children are seen as an economic unit that must be put to work to support families. Consequently, child labor is rampant." As I pondered the plight of education in Myanmar, this one thought kept coming to mind. A nation which is uneducated is a nation which is easily controlled. Is that the underlying idea governing education in Myanmar? Where do we go from here?